early childhood education is something that is incredibly important, but early childhood education in America would look so much different today if not for the efforts of one St. Louis woman, a woman by the name of Susan Blow. So in 1870, Susan Blow was traveling with her family to Europe, and she was a very educated woman. Her family was one of the richest in St. Louis, and she had used that background to get a really great education for herself. And one of the things she was most interested in was early childhood education. So while her family is on this trip to Europe in 1870, she knows she wants to stop in Germany to meet with a German educator and philosopher by the name of Friedrich Froebel. And Froebel had these really sort of revolutionary ideas about early childhood education. He believed that children learned through play, that they were inherently good and curious, and that their play would lead them to new discoveries. And this was a huge break from what people had thought about early childhood education before. Before that, they viewed children as sort of these wild monsters that needed to be controlled. But Froebel didn't believe that. He believed that, if you took kids on nature walks, if you gave them blocks, in different shapes or with numbers on them, or if you taught them things like the alphabet through song, that they would learn and they would socialize. He developed these classrooms that try to do exactly that. And he called his classrooms kindergartens. So when Susan Blow travels to Germany in the 1870s, she wants to meet with him and see these kindergartens in action. And she comes away from that convinced that kindergartens would be really good for students in the United States. And she's not the first person to think this, for the record. There were a few people who had visited with Froebel before and brought kindergartens to the United States, but these were private classrooms that these people were bringing back. Students had to have their parents pay to get a spot in these kindergartens. And Susan Blow believed that this kind of education, this learning through play, could be good for all students. So she wanted to make kindergartens public in the United States. So when she gets back here in 1871, she goes to meet with the St. Louis School Board, for the public schools, and she tells them about her plan to bring kindergartens to the St. Louis Public School District. And what they tell her is, that sounds like a great idea. We don't have the money for that. So if you can put that together yourself, if you want to use your own funds to put that together and try this out, we'd love to see what the results of that would be. And so Susan Blow takes them up on the offer. She sets up her own kindergarten classroom at the DePere School down in Carondelet. It takes a little bit, it takes until 1873 for this classroom to get up and running. But it is almost an instant success. Almost right away, she can see that those students are learning so much better. Their parents are really impressed with these methods, and they're telling their friends, maybe who have kids that go to other school districts, about how much these kindergartens are mattering to these kids. Within a few years, there's other schools within the St. Louis School District that want kindergartens for their own. So Susan Blow is training other teachers. She's going to other schools in the St. Louis Public Schools and setting up schools there. Over the next 11 years, she trains over 50 kindergarten teachers and opens over 50 kindergarten classrooms within the St. Louis School District. And representatives from other school districts around the country are coming to St. Louis just to see how these kindergartens are set up to be successful in public schools. By the time she retires in the mid-1880s, kindergartens are a success around the nation. After she retires, she keeps writing about early childhood education, offering lectures on early childhood education. And when she passes away in 1916, there's over 400 school districts around the country that have kindergartens for themselves.
To learn more about the Missouri Historical Society, visit mohistory.org.